All right, hey guys, OFD checking in here on a Friday, and today we've got a Steinhart Ocean One Vintage Military, more commonly known as the Steinhart OVM. This is the standard original issue model in 42 millimeter. Now guys, Steinhart was established back in 2001, and as a watch company, they've been really good at creating a lot of different Rolex homage watches, from the GMT series to the Submariner series, and they do have some original pieces, but really Steinhart has made gotten its footing through making Rolex homage watches. Now, some people that really bothers them, they don't like it, but the watches are considered Swiss made, and they are using ETA, or for the first portion of their lifetime, they've been using ETA movements. I do believe that with the change up with the Swatch Group, they will be moving to the Sellita SW200 in a number of their different models, but the OVM is probably one of the most popular watches in their lineup. Now, yes, it is an homage watch, but the OVM is an homage watch to the original Rolex 5517. Right around 1,000 pieces were produced. These pieces were produced for the Royal Navy back in the 1970s, and they're like unobtainium, I guess you'd say. These watches will cost you six figures, low six figures for a decent version, and a clean, nice-looking version can go way, way up into the six figures. So these aren't watches that are most normal watch collectors can pick up or find or be able to purchase. So when Steinhart brought out this OVM model back in 2012, it was a really, really popular model. And to this day, they actually have a lot of trouble keeping these watches in stock. They've gone to, in 2017, they created a 39 millimeter version of the watch, which is absolutely popular. I've never gotten one here on the channel. I've never had one of their 39 millimeter variants here on the channel, but they're extremely popular watches and commonly sold out at the Gnomon website as well as the Steinhart website. But this particular watch came to the channel by way of a friend, a local friend. I actually picked it up from him. Really excited to have this. This is one of the original 2012 models. I do believe it's a June 2012 model. I'll show you the paperwork here behind it. And the watch is in really good shape for a watch that's 8 years old now. So let's go ahead and adjust the camera and take a closer look at it. All right, so what's really not to love about this watch? I kind of love everything about it. Obviously, the fact that it harkens back to that original 5517, but Steinhart has really done a lot to the watch. First of all, you get a metal bracelet. The original 5517s had welded spring bars. They weren't even spring bars, they were welded bars. So they all had to be run on a nylon strap. Obviously the reason being so you never lost your watch. It was a military grade watch. They didn't need to change out bracelets and straps like we love to do. But in these modern versions, you're going to get a nice solid stainless steel bracelet, screwed links. Now, like I said, this is an original 2012 model, and there's some fun stuff about these ones. Like I said, I think that's June. I don't know. It's in German, but this originally came from Steinhart originally, and you can see inside of here, Ocean Vintage, ETA 2824-2. So this is running the Swiss at a 2824. Great, great movement. This watch, I've had it for a little over a week, and it's keeping really, really good time within just a few seconds a day plus. So I'm really happy about that. Now, just really quickly talking about the specs to get those out of the way. You have a 42 millimeter case side to side, not including that crown. Just over 50 at 50.5. I measured lug tip to lug tip, 22 millimeter openings, and you come in at about 14.4 millimeters of thickness on the watch. The handset on the watch is typical, what you'd expect from the vintage military lineup. These big, broad sword hands on the watch filled with this old radium style lume. Now, this is, of course, Super Luminova they're using in here, but they've got that old radium style fading to it. Really, really nice looking watch. Now, one of the things that was very controversial, and I remember this, I really remember this when it happened, was that when Steinhart brought out this watch, in reference to the original 5517, they put the 200 meters here on the dial. Now, anyone knowing the OVM line knows these are 300 meter watches, which it does say so on the case back of this watch. So it was quite controversial. I remember reading the forums, and people were kind of really upset about this and thought it should say 300 meters. What's the big deal? It doesn't say Rolex up here, so why does it need to say 200 meters down there? But so I think at one point, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I think that what Steinhart did is after they released these with the 300 meter case back, they went back and they made a slight batch with 200 on the dial and 200 on the case back. Those are kind of rare birds. There's not a whole lot of those around. And then they finally just said, screw it, 300 meters on the dial, 300 meters on the case back, which all the newer versions have. But there was this period of time when this watch came out where there were some differences because of that 200 meters. Particularly, I love this model because of that 200 meters on the dial. I think it's kind of neat and quirky. You know, I know that I'm never going to go 200 meters anyway, so it really doesn't matter to me. I'm not a diver or anything. The logo on these watches is painted on, the Steinhart logo up there at the top. You can see down just below the handset where they're connected there, the one in the circle. Now, originally on the Rolexes, that would have been the circle with the T, indicating it was a tritium dial. Actually, those had the radium removed from them, and they had the tritium applied, and so they put that circle and the T in there, letting people know that that more dangerous radium had been removed from the watches. That's why they had that T in there. Now that's probably a trademark thing. So Steinhart went and did the one in the circle, which is really cool because it's the Ocean One. You know, it matches really well. So cool deal there. This watch, like I said, is about 8 years old now. It's in good shape. You can see some little dings and whatnot around the bezel insert there, but it just adds more character to the watch. 120 click bezels you get on these watches, and they always lock in and line up really good from Steinhart. I've never, ever, ever had an issue with bezel action or anything like that on any of the Steinhart watches I've owned over the years, and I've had quite a few. So if you guys haven't seen a Steinhart Ocean One, this is all pretty standard here. Polishing of the case is really nicely done. Brushing on the top. You have a signed crown on the watch, as you can see over here. This one lines up really good. When it's tightened down, it almost stands up perfectly straight, which I really like. Screwed links on the bracelet, which are solid all the way through. Very nice. Scissor style clasp assembly. This one is polished. I didn't remember if they actually polished them. So I don't know if somebody did that afterwards, but it does look really nicely. And then your standard Ocean One case back here, as you guys can see. And on the back, it lets you know that it's running a Swiss movement. And it also has, I think somewhere on here, you can see the 300 meters of water resistance. Where is it? Yeah, I think it's right here. I think it's 300 meters or 1,000 feet. So very interesting, very cool watches. Like I said, I was excited to get this one in just because the age of it. It's one of the original models. And they're really, really, really popular watches. So guys, I wanted to show you this. Let's go ahead and get it on my 7-inch wrist and then stick around to the end of the video. We'll do that loom shot. All right, so here's the watch on my 7-inch wrist. Always a fan of a 42 millimeter case size. You know, 50 lug to lug, fits the wrist just right. Lots of wrist presence without being obnoxious. Very classic styling. Great looks on this watch. Really, for me, nothing I don't like about this particular model. Now, I wanted to show you on the wrist today, I have on the Omega Seamaster, so we'll just kind of put those together to show you the size comparison. The Omega, I do believe, is a 41 case, a little bit shorter lug to lug, but it definitely looks nice. And somebody made a comment, no, I don't wear watches on the back of my hand, so kind of silly. But anyways, let's dim the lights and let's check out the loom on this watch. I don't think this will surprise you guys at all because the loom on these Spinnakers, gosh, Steinhart's is always really, really nice. This one being no different. Even with 8-year-old watch that this is, the loom is blasting. And you can notice even though it's old radium style on the front, it glows bright green like it should, and it glows all night long. So, all right, guys, you like the video, give me a thumbs up down there at the bottom. And if you've not subscribed to the OFD channel yet, please do. Please do. Thanks, guys.